Ndlea to stop all this unacceptable nonsense of drug abuse, drug trafficking in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country we have. We cannot fold our arms. We can, will, and must eliminate the drug scourge.
The decision to appoint Brigadier General Buba Marwa as the chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency early last year was indeed a milestone in the history of the agency, as well as a bold step in confronting the illicit scourge ravaging the country. The exploits of the agency since the assumption of the anti-drug boss has been quite outstanding, with the various seizures, arrests, and forfeitures surpassing all previous efforts of the agency in its over 3 decades of operations. Thus, our focus on this week's episode of the program is the scorecard of the agency in the last 17 months, as presented by the chairman, chief executive of the agency recently, General Marwa, who spoke at the press conference to kickstart activities marking this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, made some very salient points. Our spotlight on this week's episode of the program is on the Directorate of Operations and General Investigation, while the Risking It All segment this week highlights the efforts of the agency in ensuring that investors in illicit drug trade suffer maximum loss on their investments. The program is Ndlea Today, your weekly guide on the activities of the nation's anti-drug agency. You are welcome. Also in this episode, Do You Know segments, executive summary, and the feedback segment completes the program for this week. Once again, we're glad to have you.
On the news highlights for this week's episode of Ndlea Today. Adopt a holistic approach to drug abuse, Osibajo urges Ndlea. Ndlea commissions call center as federal government, EU and UNODC commend agency for initiative. And Brazilian returnee arrested with cocaine in private parts as Ndlea seizes London-bound meth consignment at Lagos Airport. Vice President Yemi Osibajo has charged the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Ndlea to adopt a holistic approach in its quest at ensuring a cocaine-free Nigeria. Professor Osibajo spoke at an event organized by the Ndlea in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes UNODC, the European Union EU and the MTN Foundation to mark the 2022 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking.
We are winning this war, and there is no question at all that the days of the scourge of drug abuse and trafficking and dependency are clearly numbered. But it will involve even greater investment in focus and determination for the long haul.
This year's event, which was held at the State House Conference Center, Abuja, attracted a broad spectrum of stakeholders in the war against drug abuse. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has commissioned a 24-hour anti-drug call center to help drug users and addicts seek prompt treatment and proper attention. The toll-free helpline, manned by professionals and experts in counseling, psychotherapy, psychology, and psychiatry, was part of the agency's strategic intervention in bringing under control the increasing cases of drug use disorder and related health concerns. The commissioning, which attracted many dignitaries, has elicited commendation from the federal government, UNODC, the European Union, and many others. A Brazilian returnee, Ndlea Today has been arrested by the operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the arrival hall of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, with pellets of cocaine concealed in his private part. Ndlea was nabbed at the Lagos airport upon his arrival on Ethiopian Airlines from Sao Paulo, Brazil, via Addis Ababa. Preliminary investigations revealed the suspect had swallowed 50 wraps of cocaine before departing Brazil and excreted 48 pellets in Addis Ababa, where he handed them over to another person. He, however, claimed he was unable to excrete the remaining 2 wraps at the hotel room in Addis Ababa before boarding his flight to Lagos. In a related development, a drug kingpin, Onyekachi Chukwuma MacDonald, was arrested for attempting to export 40 parcels of methamphetamine, otherwise known as Mkurumiri, to London, United Kingdom, through the narco export shed of the Lagos airport. The arrest, which came off after 3 weeks of painstaking investigation and tracking by the operatives of MMIA Command of the NDLEA, was the aftermath of the interception of his meth consignment weighing 2.05 kilograms, coupled with the arrest of his freight agent Christopher Anikon on the 7th of June. Similar seizures and arrests were recorded in Owerri, Imo State, Lagos Airport, Tinkan Seaport, Apapa, while 2 kingpins behind the importation of 2 recent drug consignments from Canada were also arrested. The Chairman Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, has since commended the officers and men of the MMIA, Tinkan and Imo State Command of the agency for the remarkable feats.
Chairman, Chief Executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has revealed that a total of 17,647 drug offenders and 10 barons have been arrested in the past 17 months, with over 2,369 convicted and jailed, while more than 11,000 drug users were cancelled and treated within the same period. The NDLEA boss made this known recently in Abuja at a World Press Conference to kickstart activities marking this year's UN Day against drug abuse and illicit drugs. According to him, the agency is abreast of times and trends, hence the priority accorded treatments and care by the agency. For instance, a total of 8,000 drug users were cancelled and rehabilitated in 2021. While an additional 3,523 were also cancelled and rehabilitated in NDLEA facilities in the first 5 months of 2022. The agency had equally continued to shut the tap of illicit flow of drugs, with all the arrests and conviction recorded in the last 17 months, while a cumulative total of 154,667.339 kilograms of assorted drugs were seized in the first 5 months of 2022.
This year's theme for the UN Day has beamed the light on an area the drug problem that has until recent years been on the back burner of the drug discourse. For us at the agency, we are abreast of time and trends, as shown by the priority.
Marwa also revealed that the agency has revved up a more balanced approach to drug control in line with the current realities. Yes, it's true. Drugs are a vice in our society, costing lives and huge economic losses. But the story is not the same because the game has changed. It's a red card for drugs in Nigeria. There is a new sheriff in town. Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa is moving hard and fast with full speed and precision to rid the country of the drug scourge. Ndlea Today is a program that gives you a front seat in understanding the highs and lows, the laws of drug enforcement in the country. Join us on Thursdays, 6 to 6:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, Africa's largest TV network. Ndlea Today. Don't miss it. The Directorate of Operation and General Investigation is charged with the responsibility of detection and prevention of offences, evaluation of any of the sections of the acts setting up the agency. This responsibility includes, among others, the monitoring of the movement of goods and services into and out of the country in collaboration with the Nigerian Customs Service. This also requires conducting of searches on persons incoming and outgoing vessels, including pleasure crafts, fishing vessels, aircraft, and other vehicles. By so doing, consignments suspected to contain drugs and psychotropic substances coming in and out of the country are detected and impounded. These activities of the Directorate has been responsible for the numerous arrests of persons in possession of drugs, with the seizure of huge quantities of substances such as cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. This mechanism has also halted the local distribution and exportation of drugs which were smuggled into the country, including marijuana, which is grown locally. For Adeyemi Adeofe, the current director in charge of the Directorate, the upsurge in arrests and seizures of all types of substances witnessed in the recent months is clearly a reflection of the new direction and motivation by the current chief executive.
The officers just key into the agenda of the chairman, because the new mantra now is offensive action, offensive action, offensive action. And we are carrying the war to the den of the traffickers now. We are no more waiting for them on the road for them to come. We carry it to their den and we are doing it. And we have been making the arrests and we are still making more. So that is just it. The motivation, the encouragement from the leadership.
The responsibility of ensuring reduction in drug supply rests squarely on the Directorate, with a robust collaboration with other stakeholders.
You know, when we talk of fighting drugs, you know, people always know that we go out on raid, we arrest, we prosecute as one, but we have another aspect of the drug. We have the supply reduction and we have the drug demand reduction. There are two major components. So this Directorate deals directly with the supply reduction, and that involves doing surveillance. After you do the surveillance, you go out on raid operations. After the raid operations, then you made your arrest, then you do the investigation. After the investigation, then the case file and the suspects are forwarded to the prosecution unit.
Raids of various locations where drugs are sold, such as hotels, clubs, smoking joints, and alleys, is a major modus operandi of the Directorate.
Those are the places we call black spots, or we call them hot spots. In fact, we have mandated all our state commanders to go after all these spots now. And right now, there's one special operations going on around the whole country. We have identified most of these black spots, and we have instructed our state commanders in all the 36 states, including FCT command, to make sure that they go after them. They are already working on them and they are making the arrest.
The drug war should not be seen as that of the Ndlea or the government alone. In its quest to ensure that investors in the illicit drug trade suffer maximum loss, the operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted 22 blocks of heroin weighing 23.55 kilograms and worth 4.5 billion naira, concealed in packs of baby cereal at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. The consignment reportedly came from Johannesburg, South Africa, on board South African Airways flight as part of a consolidated cargo that arrived the SACO import shed of the Lagos airport. Disclosing this, the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, stated that the interception was after a series of follow-up operations that led to the arrest of 2 freight agents. The actual receiver of the drug consignment, Chike Okeke Eweni, who distributes the substance for his South African-based partner, was arrested the following day, Thursday, 30th June, at a logistics warehouse in Ajao Estate, Lagos. Chike, who hails from Anyocha local government area of Anambra State, claimed during preliminary investigation that he is also into fish farming. In a related development, the vigilant officers at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, also arrested Muyiwa Babalola Bolujoko for ingesting 90 pellets of cocaine. The 39-year-old former BRT driver from Ijebu South local government area was arrested during screening before boarding a Qatar Airway flight en route Doha, with Dubai, UAE being his final destination. The suspect, who excreted all the 90 pellets in 4 excretion periods while under observation, claimed he left his 60,000 per month job as BRT driver to work as a drug courier to raise funds for his transport business. Like we usually say on this Risking It All segment of the program, you stand the risk of losing everything in the drug business, including your freedom. The drug trade is not the way to go for anyone, because the ever-vigilant officers of the Ndlea will surely get you anytime, any day, anywhere.
Do you know that you become drug dependent when you need one or more drugs to function? Drug dependence, also known as substance dependence, is a biopsychological situation whereby an individual's functionality is dependent on the necessitated reconsumption of a psychoactive substance because of an adaptive state that has developed within the individual from psychoactive substance consumption, which results in the experience of withdrawal, which necessitates the reconsumption of the drug. Do you know drug dependence can be physical or psychological? With physical dependence, the person using the drug over a period of time will have developed an intense reliance on drugs, often to avoid difficult withdrawal symptoms. The person will often crave to use the drugs despite the damaging consequences to their physical, mental, and social well-being. Drug users can also experience psychological dependence in which they believe it is necessary to use drugs to function, sometimes just at social gatherings or all the time. Do you know that drug abuse can lead to dependence? People may take a prescription medication for pain or another medical condition. This kind of use can sometimes develop into a substance use disorder. The following are known triggers for substance use disorders: having a family history of addiction, living in an environment where illegal drugs are often used and easy to access, having a history of anxiety, having a history of depression, having a history of other mental health conditions. Do you know the long-term outlook for people with drug dependence is fatal? If left untreated, dependence on illicit drugs can be dangerous. You may increase your drug use as your body adapts to the drugs. This can result in an overdose or death. Treatment can reverse dependence, but you must want to be treated. Sometimes, treatment is successful the first time, but relapse is common. Ongoing therapy and support groups can help you recover, stay on track, and address symptoms of relapse.
Now let's see what questions we have for this week. Aisha Muhammad from Lokoja, Kogi State wrote, what are the requirements for registering a non-governmental organization against drug abuse? Good to know you're interested in this worthy cause. Please visit our website on www.ndlea.gov.ng for registration requirements and procedures. Next is Jude Wankwo from Owerri, Imo State. He asked, please, I would like to know if alcohol is a drug. Absolutely. Alcohol is a drug classified as a depressant. Alcohol is quickly absorbed into the bloodstream and goes directly into the brain. Alcohol is the most commonly abused drug in many countries, including Nigeria. Next, we go to Makurdi, Benue State, where HMB Oche asks this. Good day. Please, does the agency have rehabilitation centers? And if yes, how do I locate them? Dear HMB, there are rehabilitation centers spread across the country. To locate the one nearest to you, kindly visit the NDLEA command in your state. You can also visit our website on www.ndlea.gov.ng for additional information. Please keep the questions and comments coming, and we will surely attend to all of them. Keep a date with us next episode of the program. Till then, it's bye for now.